Extra, extra, read all about it as we will be spoiling all contents from this week's episode in this podcast recap. View at your own discretion.
You've been warned.
Welcome back to the house, my friends. We are so glad to have you back around the house. We've been lonely here all week, but we have kept ourselves busy. We are back to review the next episode of Spider-Man, actually the next 2 episodes of Spider-Man, and the next episode of Invincible. It's a very exciting day. We love both these series. We're excited to talk about it with you guys and with each other. I'm your podcast host, Noah Marano. Back again with my co-host and producer. He doesn't have long white hair like him, but it is our very own Geralt Rivia.
Note, video editor, if you could, whenever I'm introduced, just like Invincible, just flash up my new name.
We'll cut like the name, and
Yep.
it'll just be
And then just like blood splatter.
We'll work on that.
Yeah. So just note, get to working on that.
I'm excited, man. Obviously we love these shows. We're gonna talk about it. We do actually have to give a ranking to one of these shows today because it is
wow.
it's complete. I don't know if you thought about that.
I have not.
Brief time with the show, but I had a very fun time with the show. We're going to talk about that one last.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Invincible episode first. Let's get right into it. Let's not talk too much about some other nerd news that's come out because there hasn't been too much. It's kind of the twilight hours right now. So Invincible, next episode, came out.
Dude.
How'd you have? Did you have a lot of fun? I mean, honestly, this episode for me was just kind of like there.
Yeah.
So.
No, yeah, it was good. I think we talked about it very briefly. We try not to talk about, these episodes until we get together on the pod, but I talked about it very, very, very briefly. And we felt like calling it a filler episode was an insult, but it's like not, because calling something a filler episode can be an insult.
It's pretty negative connotation.
But this is a filler episode, but like not in a bad way.
No.
Big picture, obviously, like leaving last episode. You know, they kind of did that thing where it's like we end an episode freaking crazy, and then the next episode we do nothing with that and we come down.
Yeah, the 4 epidodes have been gas, like all gas. No breaks.
And we just like really kind of came down, and did some more world building, some more storytelling with on Earth, and kind of left the space stuff out this episode. Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all.
No.
But this episode didn't move the big picture much.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Every episode doesn't have to move the needle, because what's beautiful about the show is not only the super cool overarching plot, but the world that they build.
Yeah.
And the characters that they've invested in, and that. Characters that are coming back from the first season and plots from the first season are kind of like, rearing its head back, even if it's just for this episode.
Yeah.
So obviously we opened the episode up with Duplipal. I don't even know if that's his name, but
it's not. It's Multipal.
Yeah, but he's Duplipal.
Because she's duplicate.
Yep. He's
Multipal.
Duplipal. Nope, Duplipal. They're twins. Obviously we get that really like unsettling scene of him in the cell.
Oh yeah, that was so gross. Gross.
It's like,
I also don't think that would work. Feasibility wise, do you think that would actually work?
Yeah.
What I didn't understand is how they didn't start filling the room up.
That's true.
That's what I didn't get.
Yeah, I feel like that
because I feel like at some point would also be crushed in order to get that door open.
Yeah, I guess unless they're just multiplying sideways.
Yeah, and they're just all getting
not
stuck like this.
up.
And
Yeah,
but I feel like just for the space in the room, somebody would get pushed up.
maybe, but then you're also duplicating.
I know
more and more.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like feasibility wise, I was like, does that work?
Either way, because and correct me if I'm wrong. The Dupla family, the Dupla twins, like when they a duplicated version of themselves dies, they feel that.
I don't actually remember if they touched on that in the show, or I don't know if they've touched on that in the comics.
There's no way you don't feel it. Something.
It kind of hinted at like he does kind of feel it, but I will say though, I don't know if they really do, because every time he did feel pain, he was doing it to the main copy. Like the main time we saw him have pain was the collar.
There is no main copy.
Well, there is a one,
but
that's how she survived. She hid her one away. As long as the one does, because that was what they were worried about in the season in last season when she was that last season. Yeah, last season when she died, was that her like original copy. Because once the original copy got,
So that's for
it's
sure
over.
how it works.
Yeah, it's over. So that's how she
Interesting.
survived. She hid her original copy away. So she just hasn't had her original copy, at least for a while. She does now.
But that's so. But like, dude, I mean, we can get really into the weeds about that. But if her original copy is put away, how does she know what's going on with her duplicates?
Because every single one of her copies is her.
Exactly. That's
And now and I see what you're saying. You're like
It's-
playing into the pain aspect. I'm not sure if once she separates, even though it is still her, she feels the pain. Maybe she does. Maybe
you
she
feel
remembers.
something.
Maybe she remembers it because like she does still have the memories
Yeah.
of everybody. I don't know. That's honestly.
Anyways,
You could kind of see it. He was kind of like
he was
twinging a little
He was
bit.
kind of like,
Yeah.
This is like I'm.
At this point, though, they're probably so used to it.
Yeah, probably.
Like pain is probably not really a thing for them too much. So
But we could really go into the weeds of that. But no, the scene was definitely grotesque and it was unsettling, and he did that for nothing because he immediately got caught.
He immediately got caught, bro.
So
I thought that's what was the funny. That was the comedic aspect of that scene.
yeah.
Like you did all this.
So obviously he gets caught, put back in jail. And then we move over to Mark, and the family. It's
Yeah.
kind of interesting to see like some sort of normalcy in the Grayson household.
Yeah.
With the mom making breakfast and like all this stuff. It was definitely funny when the whole thing of like when she called for Mark and Eve like went out the window and all this stuff. Mark, I wrote this in my notes. Mark definitely laid down some crazy pipe. No, dude, some crazy pipe.
They do be having some crazy sex,
Bro, I'm talking the years of pent up sexual tension between them. He had to have gone crazy.
Yeah,
that
they
night.
especially just both like power.
Because since they've
Side.
met, there's always been sexual tension.
Yeah.
Like they've been interested in each other.
Yeah.
And then like, since the longer it's gone, maybe like one was into the other one a little bit more, and then they, Mark got a girlfriend, all that stuff. So it was always playing like this little game back and forth. And now that they're finally together, like, definitely was.
Yeah.
Definitely probably was insane. But obviously Oliver heard it all, which is
Yeah,
tough.
Oliver's little development in this episode was fun to see. He had some
Yeah.
some comedic moments that were like fresh, and seeing the scene with him and his friends was cool too.
Yeah.
I appreciated it.
Yeah, that was
Showed a little
dope.
bit of growth.
For
A
sure.
little bit of light side growth rather
sure.
than dark side growth.
Obviously that conversation after during breakfast, Mark and Eve, and we saw it last episode talking about like getting their own place, growing up a little bit, which I was on board for.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of stupid that they were having the conversation of like Mark was like, "Oh, I'll just get a part-time job." I was like,
Mark, shut up.
"Get the frick out of here, bro!" What you
But you saw how that.
I was like, "Bro, you're catching fades daily with aliens. What you talking about? Part-time job, dog?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Get out of here with that bull crap." But I also thought it was stupid because like, and they talked about it, which I guess like makes it less stupid. But like, she can just create a place.
She can, but she explains why that's
The
not.
zoning issues, but then just go outside of the city limits.
It's also, I get that. Like you find just like
you can fly
Yeah.
at like Mach 5
there's
speed.
There's definitely ways around it. I mean, she went to
for sure.
Africa and just made like her
tree
house.
house.
So like that's
and when you can fly at Mach 5,
yeah.
you can get to other continents pretty fast.
Yeah, it's pretty easy stuff. So.
Anyways, that's not
Neither here nor there.
Yeah, not important at all. I do want to go to the scene of Oliver in the skate park.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah. It was good to see the development.
It was, and I'm glad like Eve like stopped Mark from interfering there. I thought it was funny when they're like, "Oliver, don't use your powers, like do it." And he's like, "All right, bet I'm gonna actually do this ollie." And he ollies and he wipes out
Yeah.
face first, eats dirt, and they gasp.
Yeah.
They're, oh my gosh. And in my head I was like, we do know he's indestructible, right? Like this little 4-foot drop is not going to hurt him at all.
Yeah, not at all. Not even a little.
So
bit.
I thought that was
Yeah.
funny, but
But
like
they knew.
that he has powers,
Yeah, they knew that he has powers. so-
and that he's purple.
Yep.
Didn't care.
They just accepted it.
I thought it was wholesome.
Yeah, it was. It was
That's
good.
very like it makes sense
Yeah.
that kids would like not. I mean, some kids would like, of course, like point like
For
point
sure,
at
for
it and
sure.
like make fun of it. But there are like some kids. It's like to them, it's like it doesn't matter if you're purple, yellow, white, black. It doesn't matter. Like
yeah.
they're just like kids, so they
No, I
don't
agree.
really, like they're naive to it all,
Yeah, I completely
and they're
agree.
just so that was cool. To it all, but like, come on, like you thought he was gonna turn those bullies into like a human meatball.
I didn't. I didn't think. I didn't.
Oh,
think
you
he-
knew?
Well, I just didn't think. I actually don't know if this scene is from the comics.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember this scene very much from the
You
comics.
didn't think he was gonna accidentally kill one of those kids. You just that
No,
didn't cross your mind
no,
at all.
I thought this is gonna be like we're gonna see his growth. Like that's what I was expecting.
Interesting.
But you have to also think I know the outs. I know
That's fair. You know his
I know his story.
journey.
So
Yeah.
like I had that aspect going into it. I was less fearful of him just knocking a head off.
I was fully
'Cause
like he's about to kill this kid.
I also thought like story-wise that would make a mess of this episode very quickly when I didn't feel like that was what they were going for in this episode. This episode very much felt like from the beginning like this was kind of a let's pump the brakes
but
episode.
but with Invincible though, they can be
That's
doing
true, that's
that, and then all of a sudden,
I agree, but historically with this show, we've had these episodes where they do like sprint and then all of a sudden they come to like a very steady pace.
sure, but there's no way. I mean, again, you have context. You have a broader perspective and context. Think about it from someone who doesn't. They just established the last time we were with Oliver. We
Yeah.
just established.
Oh yeah, for you, I'm saying for
that
sure.
his perspective on the world is.
Yeah.
I wrote this down. Where did I write it down?
I think that's what they're banking on too. They're banking on that scene playing to audiences who don't know the story and don't know the context.
For sure.
And that's what makes it so good. It's because they want people like you to buy into the fact that like we don't know what he's gonna do yet.
Yeah, no. From our perspective, like we just established that
Yeah.
he's like bad guy, kill bad guy.
You're
Bad
like,
guy, don't do
He's
bad
about
things.
to punch a hole through this guy's
I
chest.
was like, yeah, he's about to push this kid, and he's gonna fly through 3 buildings.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a boys scene, like for sure.
Yes. And then he didn't, and I was like, okay, Oliver, that's very mature of you.
Wholesome. Yeah, the
Very.
pantsing was very mature.
Yeah. Compared to what he could have done. Yes, and so I was like, okay, I rock with it. There's a glimmer of hope, but I still don't have faith that he's a good person. He's gonna be
Yeah.
a good person.
Yeah, yeah.
But who knows? There's time for that. But Rex, bro,
Yeah,
Rex got Riz.
Rex has always had Riz. Respectfully,
But
he's always had the sauce.
let's
Let's not act like he hasn't. He's just a jerk. He's coming off. He now is continuing the sauce, but with less of the dick.
I understand. Like if I looked at Rex at any other point in the show, I'd have been like, got no play. But you look at the resume,
It stacks up.
and he's pretty deep.
It stacks up.
And obviously, I agree now. Like he's doing it in a less dick way, and it's
Mhm.
like, okay, like now
Yeah.
it's allowing me like, well, what Rex got a little bit of Riz. Not gonna lie, plowing through the girls of the Guardians though. I'm talking about no girl that has ever been on the team, or will be on the team in the future
Yeah.
is not safe.
No.
You will get plowed by Rex. There's just no way around it. The girls that are a little bit more insecure, like the bad boy, already plowed through those girls.
Yeah.
Ray, not like that. Not into the bad boys. That's
No.
okay. He could turn on his little sensitive charm boy.
She's
self.
like a weird tomboy too, like a very weird tomboy.
Yeah, but she's not like into the bad boys.
No.
Like she likes the sensitive,
yeah.
like thoughtful, romantic, charming. And so Rex was like, "All right, let me put that mask on."
I think it's him now. I think that's just
I
who he
do.
is now.
I do think that is him now, and he has gotten a little soft.
I will say this scene was. All these scenes are interesting to see with them because I know for a fact she's dead in this point in the comics. When
Oh,
she gets
interesting.
and first off, she is a he in the comics. They swap the gender for her role in the show.
Oh.
He gets eaten by the Lizard League guy
Yeah.
and doesn't come back.
and doesn't go back.
And so they've kind of I don't know what their intended purpose is.
The thing is, the Guardians die every season, but they come back.
Yeah, so their intended purpose behind I don't really know what they're going for, other than the fact that like they are. I really like this subplot. I don't feel like it's distracting from the main plot. I feel like they sprinkle just enough of it in every episode, and it's been nice to see the development of like two people who have gone through something traumatic together, and that's why they're bonding. And obviously, like, it's becoming more romantic I think everybody could kind of pin that it was going to be kind of becoming more romantic as we saw them more and more together. But no, I really like it just because I think last season suffered a lot from getting to other plots in the story that maybe not everybody was interested in and maybe sticking on them too long. Versus
Yeah.
this season, we've seen a much more refined version of that where we do get these scenes. But honestly, like we talked about last week, like this is a very Mark-centric season. We're seeing a lot of Mark. Everything's revolving around him. Like the show does, obviously. But like season 2, like we had times where like Mark just wasn't around.
That was the problem.
And that was the problem.
So the problem with season 2 is like like you said, we spent way too much time and it wasn't balanced well. So it's like, I think it's interesting because as you were talking, I had this revelation. Season 1 was very Mark centric, but really is really Omni-Man centric.
Yeah.
Like he was like the driving force.
Yeah.
As he should have been.
Because the whole time everybody's trying to figure out what he's doing is the mystery of it hanging around everybody.
And it was like he really drove the season, and Mark was like co-piloting.
Yeah.
Second season, I feel like we lost Omni-Man.
Almost completely. Yeah.
Yeah, almost completely. Mark, they just like I said, episodes where he just was battling like not wanting to do this.
Yeah.
And so he was trying to be a human as much as possible.
Yeah.
And so we like got away from him a lot. And the show really suffered from it.
Yeah.
Season 3, very Mark centric. But we're getting this like perfect balance
Yeah.
of other side plots. And that's when the show is cooking at its best. I think it's like, I don't want to say this season is better than season 1. I think season 1 is still number 1.
Right now it is.
Right now. But it was like, you had such a polarizing character in Omni-Man. It was like easy to be hooked, like, sucked into the show.
Especially for everybody who had not read this comic, which was very limited people. Like, it's not an overwhelmingly popular comic.
Yeah.
So like the sheer shock
Of episode 1.
of episode 1. I mean, I didn't know the comic when I first started the show.
Yeah.
So like me seeing that, I was like,
So it got you hooked.
what the ever loving fuck is this? Like
Yeah.
that gets you wrapped in immediately. So, and at that point too, like shows like The Boys were very new as well.
Yeah.
So we hadn't really had this genre of superhero yet, where it's like Zack Snyder on crack cocaine.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, no, but like I like it. I don't feel like when we go to the Ray and Rex scenes, I don't feel like I want to get back to Mark immediately. Like I don't mind seeing them.
Yeah.
So
And then when we go to like the Omni-Man and Alan,
yeah.
I'm
like
good.
you said, Omni-Man is still like
he's
he's not the character, but he is a central character. He's like 1B.
For sure.
He's your next guy. So when we do go away to that, the weight still carries.
For sure.
You don't feel the need to get back to Mark, or you don't feel the story drifting away from what it's supposed to be doing.
But even times when we're going to like Cecil and stuff, like I find that very interesting.
And that's how you know it's like a great show all around, because this is what made Game of Thrones so remarkable.
It's true.
Is they could bounce between all of these different characters' stories, and you never felt like I want to get back to the other one. Like you were in it when they went to this person's story. We do see a bit of that with this show, where like we see the Cecil moments, we see the Eve moments on her own, we see the Rex moments. Like we like those moments. So I completely agree with that. Like it's a good balance to the show.
Yeah, and that honestly, like now that you mention it, like I might be the formula. Like you need to take the time to get everybody to care about every character.
Dude, yeah.
That's what Game of Thrones did so well.
Yeah.
Is that you like throughout a season, there's like 3 or 4 different plots that do not in any way, shape, or form like relate to each other.
Nothing ties together
that
till the
season.
end, yeah.
Within that season, nothing. So I was like, you're in the north. They're doing the whole thing that's going on. You're over here in King's Landing. There's a whole thing going on, and those stuffs don't intertwine until obviously, like way later in like seasons and seasons later. But it's like you're glued.
Yeah.
No matter who's on the screen.
Yeah, you don't care because it's all good.
Because every character is amazing.
I think that's what honestly brings a television show from being like a good show and like an excellently executed show to just another tier of like appreciation for all fans everywhere watching it.
Yeah.
Because like we see that with a lot of the greatest
And
shows that we've watched.
Yeah, and Invincible isn't there. Like, I don't care that much for every character like I did in Game of
for
Thrones.
sure, for sure.
But I mean, the fact that I could probably list off like 5 characters in Invincible that I'm like heavily invested in.
Yeah,
That's more than you can say about most shows.
I know. So,
So
yeah, I mean, yeah, I thoroughly, I enjoyed this episode. I didn't like, I wasn't over the moon about it like I was the first 4, but that's just because again it steps off the pedal a little bit.
yeah,
But I don't think it's bad. I think this show does it very tastefully, much better than a lot of other Disney Plus shows we've seen.
yeah.
Because we've gotten the other side of this coin where like they just like that's a big problem with Star Wars. I feel like every
Star Wars is not figured
every
it
Star
out.
Wars show they get to a point where they try to do this, where they try to take the pedal off and they try to put the brake on, and
But they just stay on the brake.
they just slam on the brake hard, and it's messy. It's like shaking, so it's not a gradual ease. But yeah, you got anything else about this episode? I love the dragon. Thought he was cool.
The machine head scene when what's his name, Titan visits him.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was fun to see Machine Head again.
Yeah, I love him because one of my favorite shows of all time is Burn Notice.
Okay.
And the main guy, Jeffrey Donovan, who plays Michael on Burn Notice, he's Machine Head.
Is he really?
Yeah. And I remember when I first saw him in season 1, like I recognized the voice, but I was like, who is that? I was like, it's itching a part in my brain that I forgot about.
Yeah.
And when I found that out, I was like, now every time I see him in a scene, I can just hear Jeffrey Donovan playing his little crazy actor, because he plays like kind of like a eccentric character in a lot of things that I've seen him in, outside of even in Burn Notice. Like when he's playing a character in Burn Notice, he's very eccentric, and that's all Machine Head is.
Yeah.
And so it's very fun. I really like his character just because he's so crazy.
Last thing we'll touch on, and this kind of encapsulate the whole end of the episode, but like, I thought I'm curious, is this whole like little plot in the comics?
Yeah, the Titan plot. Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of knew the twist and
I knew
the turns.
I knew the twist in the original season when Titan took over.
Okay.
Well, no, did I? Because I didn't read the comics till after I watched that whole season. So I actually didn't.
So I guess my question is, because from my perspective, I am not gonna lie, they concealed Titan's plan really well.
Yeah.
Like he met with Machine Head, and it's implied that he has a plan, but it kind of goes away before him and Machine Head can even get on the same page,
Yeah.
or give any kind of hint that they are gonna work together.
Yeah.
And then like obviously the plan goes in motion. You know, we're talking with Invincible. Invincible is like, no, I'm not gonna let Paul out. And so then the plan goes into motion, and it was just like, dude, I the whole time, like the show had me by the collar.
Mhm.
It was just like moving me,
yanking
like
you around.
yanking me around, like boom, like homeboy from the Order comes in, and you know he's gonna fight Titan, and it's like, then Titan's like, all right, Isotope, like handle my light work.
Mhm.
Then he switches, and you're like,
Mhm.
oh no, like
Yeah.
you a hoe. I knew that little snake. And then obviously the plan, you know, goes into motion. Titan
Mhm.
dies, which I didn't think he was dead, but
Yeah.
he dies. And then the whole like dragon fight, which was sick with Mark at the
Yeah.
prison. Mark is probably the only first time this season we've seen him kind of like getting beat up like he used to.
Yeah.
Although he was throwing haymakers, but that dragon was.
They explained it. He's from another realm, a little bit more magical. And
Yeah, and I guess that just like, you know, that's the difference maker. I
Yeah.
mean, being from a different,
Well,
being
I
a
think
mythical being.
Given that Invincible is kind of not a parody, but is kind of a twist on
Superman, that magic
that
would.
kind of makes sense.
I guess, yeah. That's fair. And so
I will say, I'll answer it like this though. I actually had to look up whether this was even in the comics, because at some point in this episode, this is such a small story, I couldn't even really find the answer off my first.
So were you in my boat? Were you getting yanked
yeah,
around?
I actually didn't really know what was happening throughout the episode. Like
Okay.
I other than like knowing the broader picture and knowing things about like what decisions characters would make, because I kind of figured I'm talking about like the Oliver instance. Like I kind of knew how Oliver would start to act based on like my context of how I know his overall arc goes. But as far as this plot, I really didn't know what was happening.
So they had you by the collar.
I knew
They're just throwing you around.
that this was where they were starting the company. because that's a big part.
The Invincible.
That's a development that will continue. I knew that was where this started. Outside of that, I genuinely did not remember this from the comic run. I had to like go and look this up.
So is it in the comics?
I actually don't have an answer for you right now.
That's fine.
What I'm going to start doing, I've realized I want to start doing this. I think I mentioned it briefly a few weeks ago. I want to, as we watch the episode, I'm going to read the comics through the episode and then leave off again until the next episode.
Okay.
So that way we can get a little fresher, so I can remind myself too and give a fresher perspective on the comics than, because I read through that like almost 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I read through that comic. So, and I binged through that comic very quickly. It's a deep book too.
Bro, to say the least, bro. That show was ragdolling me, bro.
Yeah.
Well, my brain was, obviously Paul, gets out and Machine Head gets out. And I saw like when Eve was like checking on Machine Head and we saw like the isotope, like the glow, the green glow.
Yeah.
I knew he got teleported out. So then I was like thinking like,
oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, you didn't see that?
No, I missed that.
So when Eve went down to go get Paul.
Yeah, I saw her like look in the cell and go,
yeah.
I didn't see the green
Right
glow.
before that, it was like a green flash.
Okay.
And I was seeing the isotope.
Yeah.
And I was like, that little hoe. Now he's double crossing.
He's double crossing the double cross.
He triple crossed. And so I was like, he gonna get his OG boss. I was like, look at that. What a hoe.
After spewing off at the beginning of the episode, like,
yeah, right, bro.
had to take my opportunity when it came.
Yeah, bro. I was like, this guy's a hoe. And then obviously the thing with Duplapal, which I love the way Duplapal. It's not Duplapal, but he is Duplapal to me. The way he fights is so cool, bro.
Really, you like that?
Heck yeah, bro. The way he jumps in the air, but then duplicates mid-air
And, like, pushes
that
off
like pushes,
himself.
and then like pushes him forward.
I will say the creativeness in which they show how to use that power set
Kate sucks.
is very cool.
Kate
I think
sucks.
I agree. Kate doesn't really do too much.
Duplapal is that guy. That dude is wild.
I'm gonna put in the editing afterwards. Every single time you say Duplapal, it's just gonna bleep out and say multi-Paul. But it's gonna be my voice, just multi-Paul.
Bro,
so say it as many times as you want.
I will. He is insane, bro.
Yeah, he's crazy.
You didn't really see that the first time we saw him fight, but like, I can see why he's an assassin. I love that for him. I do
love that for him.
Another thing that like also kind of confuses me with like what you were talking about, like as long as the original is whatever, is when when Eve like puts them all in those like stone, like obviously she traps that last one and then it's revealed like there's one more.
Yeah.
Is the OG one then just hiding?
That's what you're always left to wonder.
Because it looked like that was the OG
from
one.
I know, but from what it seemed like it wasn't.
But that's the thing, in writing then, they can just always say, there's another one deciding.
Yep.
That's just such like
kind of the plot loophole.
It's such a plot loophole.
I think it's kind of the irony. Like it's the purposeful irony of that character. Like I feel like it's almost satirical.
It has to be, because when Kate showed up and you're like, I was just actually, I kept one copy just hiding.
Okay.
Okay, sure.
Yes, because literally every time they die, at any point in the future in the comics,
they can just show back up.
I left them there at the safe house.
Yeah,
we're all good.
Took a nap.
Which honestly, like I think it's satirical in nature. I 100% believe that.
But yeah, I did want to know that. Freaking sick, bro. The way he fights.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty much it, right? Because
there's not really a lot happened in this episode. It's really just the prison plot. That was it.
Yeah, and then obviously like Machine Head kills the homeboy, and then everything. But like, bro, nobody stays dead in the show.
No. Again,
it's actually kind of annoying. Though.
Again, satirical.
That was kind of annoying. Why did we bring homeboy back?
It's playing on the DC Marvel thing, because even like when they die, they just go to the government and like they get stitched up and they're like good.
Yeah,
that won't stay like that forever.
I know. It's just like the problem is with these, like, I don't want to call him a throwaway character, but like this old man, the dragon, like I don't know if he serves a massive importance in the overarching plot, but if he doesn't, like, don't bring him back, because when people die, you want to feel that like finality of it. Like
you're losing the stakes.
Yes, because it's like this person dies, and it's like, and I get it's a joke, like with the Guardians, like they've died every season. Yeah, they just kind of come back. You know, Rex should be dead.
Yeah.
Right.
The Rex one always threw me for a loop in the comics.
Ray should be dead.
Well, like I said, Ray actually dies.
So it's like you're just taking away the finality
Yeah.
of death.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna hold weight. It's not gonna hold as much weight. And so you just got to be very careful with it, because I get it's a joke, but you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot with some of these emotional strings that you're gonna want to pull when so and so dies. Yet it's not gonna hit as hard, because it's like, oh, then why don't you just bring him back? You want to do that with some random B-list character that means nothing.
Yeah.
You want to bring him back, but we can't bring it. So it's like,
I agree.
So it's just like, again, not super annoying. It's not gonna like destroy the show for me, but it's just I saw that and I was like, come on, bro. I was like, now again, if he's gonna serve some major plot, then it is what it is. But I saw that and I was like, bro, are we for real? It's like it just was dumb.
Again, I didn't really remember. I didn't really remember much of him from the comics at all. So like I was trying to refresh I remember like seeing. I know he's definitely a character. I just didn't remember much. But I will say like that'll all be fleshed out.
Yeah.
That'll be fine. But yeah, I'm excited for next week. Keep on chugging along. Get to the next episode. Get some gas. We'll say be careful online for our audience too. I've definitely seen some people recreate what they think the season is going to end like, either with AI or just pure animation themselves. So be careful of spoilers.
Interesting.
Because I literally saw a post the other day. I was like,
I wonder, is it because your feed you're looking at like
definitely
more
like I have a
down
lot
the
more
line?
nerd news coming into my feed, and that kind of filters out into other stuff as well.
Well, it's not
so
news. It's like you're
no,
looking.
I'm saying that
you're
brings
looking
in all
ahead.
the other crap as well. Like it brings in like the potential spoilers that I see. It brings in all the memes and all the fan videos about it. But yeah, no, I saw one like pretty blatantly the other day. I was like, so like if I didn't know what was happening in the show, I would still be confused by this, but I'd be like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And it would really ruin the shock factor for me coming down the road.
Yeah.
So just be careful.
Yeah. I want to protect that.
All right, let's get on Spider-Man. Spider-Man does whatever. I love
Yo,
that theme,
Spider-Man
bro.
coming, and then the
I
rap.
love
like
that theme
little
song, bro.
the
The way they
OG
remix the OG song
bro,
into it.
But like, which is great.
Yeah.
OG song is so good.
It's so good. I love it.
So
I love it over a beat. Honestly, if the entire theme song was just that over and over again on the beat, I'd also be cool with it.
Dude, it's I like the little rap thing, like
Yeah.
a little bit more modern hop or hippity hop. But it's just such a cool.
No, it's so good.
I never skip it.
So yeah, this series is over.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Now-
and there's stuff to talk about
Yes.
because we had an excitement ranking about this before it even came out, and then obviously we do have to rank it overall.
Yes.
We'll get to that unless you want to talk about the excitement stuff now.
No, first before we talk about the show, now that it's over, like I think we talk about it every week. But final decision, do we like the 4 weeks, get all 10 episodes out in the format that we got it in?
Yeah.
Or do we wish it was maybe a 3-episode premiere, 1 a week?
I'm not gonna lie. This formula has some backbone to it. It has some backbone to it. It like I don't know if it's feasible with live action yet.
That's fair.
I'm interested to see if this was like a test run, or if they were just maybe they thought they just had to get this series done and over with quick. I don't really know why, because there was definitely a lot more in these last 2 episodes that I think connected it more to like the world we know. But I don't really know what their purpose was behind it. If this was a test run, I definitely want to see more of this. I want to see what it looks like a couple more times.
That being
Because
said,
I think it really I liked it. It worked.
only caveat, you do got to do minimum 10 episodes though.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do it less.
I completely agree.
Because
You cannot do this with 6 or 8.
I like the 2-3-3-2.
Yeah.
I like that a
100%.
lot. So it's
100%.
like, because I always do love the penultimate and the finale together.
Yeah.
It's really good. I hate when I watch the penultimate and have to wait a week for the finale.
Yeah.
Do like those two together.
Moon Knight really cucked us with that.
Yeah.
Really bad.
So, like I said, you've got like live action. I know we like to do these 8.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to bump it to 10. And I know you can do it.
We just need to get away from the short seasons in general.
I know you can do 10 because you're cramming an 8.
Yeah.
You're cramming.
Yeah.
And you can really stretch it out 2 more episodes. It's not that hard.
Yeah, I don't really know what the deal is with Disney right now.
I don't know if it's like the money, like because you have
It's
to pay.
not though, because these series are costing a lot of money to make in general.
And they're it's a $1 billion company.
I know. Like I don't really understand. I don't understand the thought process behind it all. We've seen for years and years and years and years and years and years and years long seasons work. I don't know why they think
I
that
mean, we are. I will say, society now, the attention span is like not
for sure, but like
people to be invested in something that 20 episodes is. We would be.
I guess. But even
be
like
hard.
when Daredevil was dropping, like Daredevil brought in a bunch of people who weren't even Marvel fans, like because it was a good show, and that was lengthy. So like I just don't understand why we can't get back to that. And
I will say though, like, I will say because I just watched Daredevil through, like 20 episodes.
the whole
long.
thing,
How long is it? 20 episodes?
3 seasons, or did you watch just the first season?
two.
The first 2 seasons.
So what's 20?
I think the first season is actually only like 15 or 17,
Something like that.
and then the next season is like 20 or 22.
I will say it
check it out.
was a little long.
Yeah, and
That
But
maybe not don't, but because if you're doing
for
20,
me, I don't mind it.
if you're doing 20 episodes, you need to do them at 30 minutes.
And I wouldn't even say 30 minutes. I'd say like 42 minutes is typically like a show on cable with commercials. Is typically you get actual like 42 minutes of actual show. So like I agree. I think you can get that down to that because the Daredevil episodes I believe are long. I
They're
believe
an hour.
they're like an hour. Some of them are pushing like hour 5, hour 10. So like that definitely is the case with that. I'm still looking.
40 minutes is fine. It's you can't do hour-long episodes if you're doing.
Yeah, I
if
mean,
you're doing
sure.
20.
I if there's a compromise and that's it, sure. Like I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So
I think personally, and it's is what it is. I think 20 episodes might be too much. If you for live action, I think animated 20 episodes is good.
oh
because-
yeah, animated. These 30-minute episodes we're cranking through.
Yeah, animated 30-minute episodes at about you can do 10, but even
Season
20
one's only 13 episodes,
and 2.
and two is also only 13. Why do I just remember these seasons being so freaking long?
It was because they're long.
They are long. I mean, every episode, it's 13 episodes every single season. They're all pushing like some of these are 40, 45 to, but mainly 45 to an hour.
Maybe it's the dark tone.
I don't know. They just feel
drag.
longer. I could have sworn that show was way longer. Like in the seasons.
It felt long.
But even still, like that I don't mind. I don't know why we can't get back to like a 12 to 13 model. Whoever decided we're going to 6 and 8,
6 you can.
they need
suck
to be
it.
booted from the industry.
Yeah, you're so
I'm
annoying.
tired of that shit.
You're so annoying, bro.
Especially because you aren't doing it well.
Not well at all.
So like, stop doing it.
Yeah.
And if that's to wrap this back around to Spider-Man, like if this was the test run of this new format, unfortunately I don't think enough people are watching this show to really get a good read on it. Like for them, I mean, to get a good
I'm
read on the
curious
audience.
how many people are watching the show because this
I
show's
am curious.
freaking
It's
great.
in like everything I've seen on the socials is great. People are vibing with the show. The people who do watch it, they're vibing with the show.
So I've
heavy.
talked to like nerds and I'm like, "Yo, you've been watching Spider-Man?" They're like, "Nah, I haven't
Yeah.
started." I'm like, "Bro,
It's like, dude, you need to lock in.
you need to tap in."
I
bro."
understand the Marvel weary is getting pretty heavy right now, especially with the most recent crash and burn. But no, you need to lock in. Like some of these series are actually good, and when they do come around, people need to stop being so one way or the other. They need to stop being so defender of Marvel that everything is just good and perfect. They need to also stop acting like the world is imploding. Like they need to have this balance of when there is a very considerable general consensus on a show that it's pretty good, give it a chance. It's not to say you're going to like it because everybody has their own opinion, but like give it a chance because the general consensus on this show is that people are very much liking it.
It's just like take every product as it comes. Like
Yeah.
don't just generalize everything. Like Marvel's down right now, so
I hate those people,
everything's gonna suck.
I've got a couple of those friends,
Come on,
and I
bro.
hate having conversations with
Like
them. It's
take
no fun.
Take every product as it comes
Yeah.
because Marvel has not been peak like it was,
Yeah.
and it's shown, but it's not shown that everything sucks. It's just
Yeah.
shown that they've been a little bit inconsistent.
It shows that we were on a generational heat check.
Yeah, we were.
For
We were.
20
10 years.
To expect that was going to keep going on for 25 years is not reality.
Yeah.
This is reality. Some movies hit, some movies don't. Some TV shows are bad, some are really good. Stop And honestly, it's partly to do their own fault, but like the expectation was just set really high.
It was. This heat check, and now this heat, if phase 1, phase 2, let's just say the whole first 10 years, let's just say they were like solid.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah.
And then the second saga was the Infinity War saga, and it went on this generational heat check.
Oh yeah.
I wonder what it would do for phase, or for the third saga, because it's like, okay, we've seen like solid, and then we've seen like great. So it's like,
to that point, I've seen a lot of it online lately, and I think it's kind of true. The misremembering of how people felt throughout phase 1 is very evident, because people were not like all the way in on phase 1.
well, people didn't even know it was connecting,
You're right, but like
because it's never been done before.
the first Thor wasn't like an overwhelming like critical. This is a great movie. Even the first Captain America, I see tons of videos to this day of people saying they didn't vibe with the first Captain America. And so like you have those, like obviously Iron Man hit, but we have some of those movies leading up to this, to when we got Avengers.
It's Avengers 1 that
Avengers 1 really kicked off the like, holy hell, this is something special.
yeah,
Because from that point on, we hit an unbelievable stretch of
because Cap
banger
2,
after banger after bang. Guardians came out, Cap
Yeah.
2 came out same year. Then we had Ultron, which is like a little bit of a dip, but honestly, I think a lot of people have come around on Ultron from what I've seen.
I've always been a stan.
that was one of the ones I watched recently. So I was telling you, because of Brave New World, we're on a massive tangent right now. I promise.
Yeah.
We're getting back. But because of Brave New World, I was just feeling a little bit down about this.
Dude,
So
all
I
right,
went back and watched
real
Winter
quick,
Soldier.
What I've been seeing, dude, is like
Yeah.
Brave New World actually didn't flop as bad as
No, I don't think
as-
I don't think I was ever concerned about it. You talking about like money wise flopping,
no
or like consensus wise flopping?
consensus wise.
agree.
But
I've
also
seen a lot
like
of, like-
audience. Like I've seen a lot of people like. Listen, I'm not saying they were like this is the best movie ever, but like they were like it's not as bad. Like it's not as bad as people were saying.
Yeah. I am still trying to decide how harsh I want to be on that movie.
That's fair.
Like, part of me is like, it was just kind of a movie. I don't really feel one way about it or the other. And part of me was like, it was just bad. And I don't know which one to decide. I think I need a rewatch to really like formulate that opinion.
Anyways, but continue.
I went back and watched Winter Soldier just to feel something.
Winter Soldier or Ultron?
Winter Soldier.
Winter
I
Soldier.
started with that because I was like,
So
I want to see.
I want to rewatch.
I want to
that.
see Cap.
Yeah,
And so I went back and watched that. And I was like,
that movie's so freaking. Good.
damn, this movie's so good.
So
And you know that movie got spoiled for me.
what do you mean?
I was that was 2014. I
Maybe.
was in 7th or 8th grade. I remember
You
coming
were in
back.
8th grade.
Remember coming back to my classroom, and there was like 3 or 4 of us who like were really into the Marvel stuff. We'd always talk about it. And I remember this kid Justin, just straight up like was talking, dude,
Screw you,
talking to me at the desks. We're talking about. I was like, haven't seen it yet. Don't spoil it for me. He had seen it. He was like, I don't remember if he said I'm going to spoil it for you. If he just came out and said it, but I distinctly remember him looking into my eyes and be like, "Shield is Hydra." And I was like, "What?" I honestly didn't even comprehend what he was saying until I saw the movie. But I would like literally the entire time I'm watching the movie, I'm thinking to myself, I know what he said, and I can't get it out of my brain. So it did kind of ruin the twist for me a little bit, which sucks because that's one of the best twists in the entire
Awesome.
Marvel saga.
Awesome.
Is that Shield is Hydra?
The elevator scene.
Oh, so and how they pay it off in Endgame.
So
So
good.
I watched that, and then I watched Civil War, and then I watched Ultron. Kind of a weird order. And then I was like, I can't stop here.
3 bangers.
So I watched Infinity War.
Okay.
And then I watched Endgame.
Banger, 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 banger.
And then I watched Guardians 3, and that's where I stopped. Oh, I also watched Eternals, somewhere in between there.
Eternals is good, bro.
I'm not going to lie, I'm still not as high about it as I know
but you're
you guys are.
higher.
I'm still kind of around the same, like, meh.
It's good.
I'm not going to lie. I was just kind of...
I
was expecting it to move the needle a little bit more for me. I don't really think it did too much.
I'll die on the hill, man.
It's okay. If you like that movie,
There's
great.
people that have those movies. You
Yeah,
have
yeah.
Guardians too.
Yeah.
I would never agree
like,
with you.
I love Guardians too.
I would never agree
I
with
love
you.
Guardians too.
And
So,
people just have their movies
Yeah.
that they like, and that's fine.
but that being said, Guardians 3, fucking the sauce.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So good, bro.
Guardians 3 is fire.
I was still laughing at every joke on my rewatch. I think that might have only been like the 3rd time I've seen that movie. So, but yeah, so I got on a huge Marvel tangent watching everything this week, and just to feel something again.
This means something to me.
Because man, that was a generational heat check. All that to say, let's get back to Spider-Man. Let's talk about some highlights.
We're talking about Spider-Man. No, I'm kidding.
Let's talk about some highlights because there were some really cool things in these 2 episodes that we got.
Can I start us off?
Yeah, please do.
This was hilarious.
Okay.
I found this hilarious because of like me. you know I'm a generational hater. I'm just a hater.
Okay.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everything.
Uh-huh.
Norman Osborn pulling up to prison just to make Doc Ock sit there
I hate the way you talk and the way you walk.
and say, I won. You lost. I took everything from
This
you.
was a great scene.
I was like, how much of a hater do you got to be to pull up on your op?
Not only did I take all your stuff, I didn't even have to pay for it. Hot dog.
Thanks, Doc. It's like, what a hater to rub it in his face. Hey, you know who tipped him off that where you were? I did.
I did.
Guess who got all your stuff because of it? I did. Guess who didn't have to pay for it? I didn't. And I hate you.
It was a great scene, bro.
Like, dude,
It was a fantastic scene.
you're such an dude.
Yeah.
He's an op.
It was crazy. It was great. Like, as he's explaining it, Doc Ock was like, oh, yeah, well, at least I got. Nope.
Took that.
Nope. Got that one, too.
Actually, shipment's on its way to Oscorp right now.
I just made a deal, actually, with Secretary Ross.
Yep.
Mine now.
It's just,
Crazy,
bro.
Doc Ock got the
He got
stick, bro.
he got shafted.
He got the stick.
I will say the silhouette. I don't know if I think it was this
at the
episode.
end. Yeah, I think it was this is the last episode.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was like at the end.
Well, I just want to talk about the
Yeah.
silhouette
Yeah.
of the tentacles when the shot. So cool.
Ready for that. Ready for Doc Ock.
So ready for Doc Ock.
The way they left things off, we've got it. We've been wondering all season whether we're gonna get a
They
second
gotta do a season 2.
season. Gotta do a season 2.
Gotta do a season 2.
Especially because you distinctly announced and made clear that this is like an Elseworld story. This is like basically a what if story.
Yeah, bro. We can do whatever we want.
We can do whatever the hell we want with this series. Just keep it going. I don't care if it's 4 weeks every year. Just keep it going.
Just keep it going.
That's enough. It's good.
It's good.
Roll with it. So
So we had that, which as a hater, I've resonated with that scene, and this means something to me. This means it. The hater Olympics. I want Norman Osborn there. Right now, he's getting the gold
number
medal.
one overall draft pick.
After that, we get to see the suit.
Yeah, good stuff.
Sexy.
It's cool. It's cool because it's exactly like the suit we see at the end of Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
And how he comes back around to the original suit.
It's
Very
just the OG suit, man. I like the white.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. But the OG
suit
never
is
gets
just,
old. Little round spider in the back.
It's just so cool,
Good
bro.
stuff. Good stuff.
I will say something I noticed through because I believe the next scene, the big scene, is with the Oscorp truck.
It was
Scorpion and the 110 and all that stuff goes down. The creativeness that this show does with Spider-Man's acrobatics and his webs is so fun.
Yeah.
And animated shows do it better just because live action it's hard.
Mhm.
But the way he moves is just so like, wow.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's the whole thing. Like he's acrobatic. Dude can move different. All like agility based.
Yeah.
And then he's creative with his webs and how he, either webs people or, creates tripwires or whatever and all this stuff. So
I've
I thought
always
that was
told
super
people
sick.
this. I don't know if I've ever really had this discussion with you, but I always used to tell people in high school, like, honestly, if I could have one power set, as silly and as street based as it sounds, having Spider-Man's is the most convenient.
Yeah.
Like it would just be so fun.
You don't have to worry about traffic.
Yeah. I mean, that being said, like having Spider-Man's power set is not going to be the same because you don't have his intelligence, so you can't really make web shooters.
That's fair.
But you can do everything else, which is still very cool.
Oh, unless you're Toby. It's natural.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I agree. That scene, the whole scene was good. I loved, did you catch the little mirror they did at the end of the fight when Tombstone gets his power set?
So wait, first of all, dope.
Very cool. Also, did you notice his fingers were starting to flake away?
Yeah, I noticed.
I noticed
the
that.
Discoloration.
Discoloration. He's gonna turn into full Tombstone at some
Yeah.
point. I do kind of like the twist though, where he is a gang leader right now. He's kind of like Titan from Invincible a little bit.
Yeah, he's not the gang leader yet.
No, he is. At the end of the scene, at the end of the episode, they got in the car all together, and he's like, "What's up, boss?" And he lets him get in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
So he's like the boss now of the gang.
Yeah, which I thought it was. What'd you think about? Was it Dom or Don?
Don.
What'd you think about him just running away?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just plot reasons.
Would you have rather him die though in that fight?
I guess, but honestly, no, because it extends the plot as to why they all are following Tombstone now.
because he left. and they
He
didn't-
ultimately is the one that
That's
is
fair.
staying for them.
Yeah, that's fair.
I do like the twist of Tombstone maybe being an ally for a while. I don't know, because like even in that
I think by
fight,
next season it won't be that
I
way.
think it's gonna take a minute. Like there's gonna be some event that shifts the attitude a little bit more. But like
I don't even think it's an event. I think his because we've even seen from the beginning like Lonnie, like wanted nothing to do, was just doing this because he was forced to. But like low key, like gradually,
He
like
likes
he's
it.
kind of like
yeah,
it's
I-
not too bad. So it's
Yeah.
it's what I'm thinking. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think it's gonna be an event. I just think that he's gonna grow fond of this lifestyle,
sure.
and he's gonna continue to go. And I think I don't want to say he's gonna have a lust for power, but he's gonna want to be doing things the way that a gangster
Well-
would do things, and that's ultimately gonna clash with Spider-Man.
I think it honestly reminds me it's very similar to the Titan thing we're getting in Invincible. He's very similar plot. Like I feel like it's kind of what I mean by what I was saying is I think they're gonna kind of be more on the friendly side and not adversaries until something, because the gradual shifting is happening, but you even saw it in this episode, like he still is a good guy and he's not necessarily wanting like we're gonna kill people who are opposing us. We're gonna like take what we want. This is our streets. Like he doesn't really have that attitude when he's like leading them. It really is just like we're protecting our own and like we're family type attitude. And so that's what I mean more by like that. Because even when he got gassed and he started helping Spider-Man, like it was very much like buddy cop type stuff. So I'd like to see some more of that before. Obviously, like you said, gradually he's kind of he's maturing into the Tombstone we probably know more of. But I think we're going to see that, and I think he's going to continue to kind of be buddy cop until him and Spider-Man come into some sort of conflict where they just disagree. And I don't know where that's going to be. I don't really need it to be next season. I kind of like this version of Tombstone
Interesting.
where they're like kind of, helping each other.
Interesting.
So, but I like the flakiness. I like the
That was
little
cool.
hints about how
Very
we're
subtle.
seeing how that is where he's going to ultimately get to.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I think I disagree. I think it made sense for right now when he just like got these powers that like he would help Spider-Man, because like Lonnie is still Lonnie. I think by next season, if any, like unless we pick up like literally right where we left off, I assume there's gonna be some sort of time gap in
Interesting.
between
You think?
season. A little bit, not much. A couple months or whatnot.
I
But
got you.
I think like I really kind of what I said, like I don't want to see them be buddy. Like I don't want to see them like I don't want to see Spider-Man hanging around the 110th. I don't want to see
Oh no, I don't look at it like that.
like I want them like to on the side be kind of doing gangster things as gangsters would do. And it ultimately like maybe they pull off they're going for a job that's a little bit bigger than your little everyday whatever, and that's where Spider-Man obviously gets
Sure.
involved to thwart it. We see that clash. I agree. I don't need to see Tombstone as like a main villain or anything next season. We can even build on him a little bit more and get him a third season or something. But yeah, I don't want to see them necessarily be friends. Just because it would. We just did that with Norman, where like Norman's like his mentor and he's like friendly.
I think that's
and
kind
then,
of the fun twist of this world.
But I don't want to keep doing that. Where it's everybody,
Sure.
everybody that's his friend is ultimately going to become his villain. Like the Norman thing was great,
Yeah.
and obviously like Norman hasn't switched yet, but like we know it's coming.
We'll get to that. No, we started that off the mirror, where he goes to kill Scorpion.
Oh,
It was exactly like he goes to Goblin in the live action.
yeah,
And I thought it was cool because like that was a big moment where I thought more of Lonnie being like not really a villain, because he steps in, he doesn't want to kill him.
for sure.
He's like, we're not killing nobody.
Yeah.
So that's where I feel like
Because he's Lonnie.
to get me to believe that Lonnie gets to another point in his villainy, you're gonna have to do a lot of work to get to that point. 'Cause
Dozer's
right
gotta
now, yeah, something.
Dozer.
Yeah.
Bulldozer
Not
gotta die.
Dozer, no. But like something's got to happen, because right now the Lonnie I see, I can never believe he's some evil gang leader. You know what I mean? Like he's too much of a good-hearted kid. From what
Something's
I've
got a
seen.
heart in his heart.
Something's got a heart.
His
Something
brother's
has
gotta
got to
die.
happen. Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Honestly,
you're on board to kill the minors.
Maybe that's why.
So
maybe
like
that's,
so if a minor died,
maybe
you'd
that's
be
what
like
happens.
Minor died,
No,
you'd be
no,
like,
'cause
yeah,
I told you
that
I
should've
want them to
happened.
be friends for the rest of the series. You're the one who doesn't want them to be friends.
No, but like you just agreed and you said, yeah,
No,
a minor
I
dying would
agreed
be.
that would kick it off. I didn't agree that it should happen.
It
You're the
kinda
one.
fe-
You're the one kind of saying it should
No,
happen.
it kind of felt like you
I
said
don't-
that.
you're the one who's brought up the killing the miners thing. No, I think you absolutely brought it
Yeah,
up.
I mean, I said it as I listed off a couple things, but you really homered in like, yeah, like that. Like we should do that.
No, I didn't say should. I said that if that happens.
Yeah, that should happen.
That no, should and if are two very different words. You're. Anyways, other big highlight of this 2-part finale.
Scorpion, the thing when he was gonna
Yes.
kill him,
Yeah.
when Scorpion was like attacking him and he was just walking at him
Mm-hmm.
and just
Yeah.
with his spidey sense
Yeah.
or just his reflexes. That was the most badass thing I've ever seen in a while. He was just like, because he was obviously like losing it,
Yeah.
and I think it was also cool that like and they played the
Norman
moment,
track,
yeah, where it was like, stop pulling your punches. And that moment when he was just walking towards him, dodging everything, it's like he's like, I'm stopping to pull my punches. I was a little worried that like one of these punches was gonna be like Oliver. Just like Scorpion's
Knock his head off.
knock his head off. Just because like if Spider-Man wanted, like he could.
That's what's so frustrating about the DC and Marvel thing, and what makes shows like Invincible and The Boys so relaxing is the fact that like you try to convince us that this person's power set is otherworldly, like so powerful, but yet like they never actually like we never see it come to pass like in physics, like in an actual fight. Versus like Invincible, you do get those moments where they punch a guy and literally like his chest blows out.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, so like he's got the sauce.
Yeah.
We know Spider-Man has the sauce, but like you're never gonna see.
You'll never see it.
You'll never see that.
That's not who he is.
No.
But I do. I wrote this down. This is something I noticed in the same scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Peter, obviously, like when he's having those flashbacks of Norman, like had an Oliver moment, right? It was, kill bad man so bad man no do bad things no more. Like that very simple little kid mentality that obviously makes sense for Oliver.
Yeah.
Because from his perspective of how the world's like, well, bad guy's doing bad things. Let's stop him. And if he's never gonna stop, then you kill him, and he can never do it again. And so Spider-Man's like, you could see he's like having that, like because he says it like Scorpion's never gonna stop.
Yeah.
He's never gonna stop. He's always gonna do this. So like he needs to die.
Yeah.
Because that is the only way that people will be safe.
Yeah.
Which like now that we've seen this in both products that we're covering right now, hot take. That's not necessarily a wrong perspective.
This is not new for you. You're on the chaotic. You're on the neutral evil side of things.
Listen, I understand that killing villains is something that Spider-Man will never do. Something that Batman will never do, usually, unless it's like some random comic run where he's being crazy, killing villains. But like at the heart of the actual character, like they just won't do it because that's the whole thing. That's why they're heroes.
Yeah.
That being said, the idea of it's like Punisher.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in Daredevil and Punisher. It's the same conflict that they have.
Yeah.
Daredevil wants to go the justice route, and Punisher's like, no, these guys are just gonna go back on the streets.
This is justice.
And they're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna kill them, and therefore they can't do these bad things anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like the clash of these mentalities. I think is so cool.
It's always going to be interesting.
It's always gonna be cool.
Always
It's
gonna be interesting.
always gonna be
Yeah.
cool. Daredevil and Punisher, it was awesome.
It's what makes superheroes. Honestly, it's
So
like
it
one of
makes
the
heroes
big parts that makes it such an encapturing story for a lot of people.
But it's like and it is. But like my problem is. But I think Punisher's right.
Yeah, I know. You're just on the wrong side of things.
Yeah.
You know what
so
I thought I had the other day? I don't know why I had this thought. If for some reason we were to both like just gain powers,
I would be. Yeah.
I would have to stop you.
You would.
I
You
legitimately
100% would.
had that thought the other day. Like
And could you?
we'd
Depending on the
have to
power set.
we'd have to see, but like
God would have to give you a little bit stronger powers.
no, for sure, because like legitimately, if we both were to gain powers tomorrow, you wouldn't care about knocking some heads off, and I very much would be like, no, we can't go that route.
Like I would be Oliver.
Yeah, but no.
See bad man do things. I
Yeah.
kill bad people.
Yeah,
Don't do
you'd
bad
be
things.
more like Punisher. You'd be like, if this guy's doing bad, like I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't even know if for some instances I wouldn't even say the same thing. But for the most part, no, not that. For the most part, though, I would say like I had that thought. I was like, I'd probably have to stop you at some point. Or I have to try and stop you at some point because I don't think we'd see eye to eye on some things like that.
Yeah, like if we both woke up and we were both invincible, like invincible
That's
character.
I don't. Maybe that was the thought I had. I don't remember what I was doing when I thought that, but
like we're both just like
yes.
a version of Superman. Where
Yeah.
we're just you would have to
Yeah.
100%.
Like you General Zod me. You'd be like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna kill him.
pretty much.
Snap my neck. I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah, that would be wild. Yep, you got it. Would you do it?
Unfortunately, I'd have to do the Superman thing.
So
I
you
don't
would kill
know.
me.
No, I don't know. I like genuinely don't know.
If I'm like trying to kill a mass murderer,
Like you weren't trying to kill like a family, like
No.
a daughter and her.
No, like, I wouldn't do that
Yeah.
unless that family was doing some bad things.
You cheated on that test? Sorry, kid.
Bad kid do bad things.
Oh man, we are in such a tangent.
Yeah,
We're
sorry.
not talking Spider-Man at all.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's gonna be great for this.
It's fair though. It's fair.
No, it's very fair. So, big highlights of this episode. One of the cool things. So obviously we got the Norman stuff.
Dude, he's a D1 gaslighter.
Ooh, he's a gaslighter.
So bad, bro.
Ooh, man, he
So
was.
bad.
And we saw a big shift in. We saw it. We saw the shift in Norman, and then we get at the end of the season too. We'll wrap back around, but we get the last scene at the end with him at the boardroom talking like, "All right, now we've got like all these future Spider-Men in play." And I was like, "Oh fuck!" I was like,
Yeah.
So this has been your motives. Now I can't tell if he's genuinely been nice this whole time, or if he has just been playing the character.
I think he was playing him.
I think he's been playing the character. Unfortunately, we talked about that. Like, are we getting the same old Norman, or are we getting a different version?
To the
Which
fact
I like
that
the different version.
the fact that you wrote this character so well, and this character's acted so well, that in the beginning of the show, you genuinely convinced us. I'm not gonna speak for y'all.
I would say, yeah.
Genuinely convinced me and you
Yeah.
that like, dude, we're actually gonna get this like different version of Norman.
Yeah, I
this
kinda
is so
like it.
this is so cool. He's a mentor.
Maybe we're just idiots.
But like, we're not your average like nerd. Like I would say like we're an above average nerd.
I feel like that, yeah.
And we were bamboozled.
Well, I was fooled. I was
bamboozled
straight hoodwinked.
really bad.
Straight. But are you surprised?
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not
It's like-
surprised at all.
I'm like, this is exactly who Norman is.
I'm not surprised. This is what I've been waiting for. Is this? So
I just thought we were gonna get it next season.
I didn't think it was gonna come this quick.
I thought they were gonna milk it a little longer. Which I'm not mad that they didn't.
Yeah.
I'm not mad.
I did understand Norman's like want and need to do what he was trying to do.
Ah.
I do.
So you see the dark side?
No, but at the same time, I did feel like, I don't know. I just felt like it was I felt like it wasn't as intricate of a plot. I feel like Norman would really like want to create and mastermind. You know what I mean? So it was like it was a pretty basic like villainy. Like I want to like reach to other. I don't know. Like it was just weird.
I wished. I don't say I wished. I thought when like Spider-Man got hurt and they took his blood. Remember that? And we were all like,
yeah,
hey,
we're like, hey,
what you doing?
what's
Now
that?
obviously they used that for the spider. I thought, in like, I get what he's doing, but like he should have used that to make his serum.
Maybe we'll see that kind of come to play.
Maybe.
Like where he tries.
But they used the blood on the spider.
Yeah, and so they used the blood. And then I don't know when you started picking it up, but I started picking up that this might have been a time loop.
I didn't pick it up until Strange went into the hole.
When Strange first arrived on the scene,
And
and he said, and he was confused about Midtown, I was like, oh.
See, I didn't clock it then.
I was like, because then I think right after that, the creature popped out.
Venom.
That for sure, I was like, oh, so this is like a causality type. This is a loop type thing. So I liked it though. Like I thought it was interesting.
And it was awesome, and it made perfect sense.
It does.
The
And-
time
yeah.
with the time stone,
Yeah.
obviously would manipulate time.
Mhm. How it kind of got warped by Venom touching it into switching the portal.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like
so-
they didn't do it in some like bullcrap way.
No.
Like it like genuinely made sense. I didn't clock that we were doing a whole time loop thing until, dude, I'm not gonna lie, till like they were in Midtown.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we saw the green portal.
Yeah.
I still didn't clock it. It wasn't until
They, like,
Strange,
fell
like,
through.
yeah, and I was like,
He was like, oh no. He was like, yeah.
oh.
It's cool.
Dang.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
I didn't clock
And
it.
I don't really care about the paradox aspect of it. Like he's kind of creating himself. I think like time can kind of work into a loop and it comes back and then keeps moving forward type thing. Especially with these weird Marvel stuff. So like I'm okay with the fact that like he kind of created himself by causing a problem that he wouldn't have created had he not been Spider-Man type thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so.
It was paradoxical the way he becomes Spider-Man because of his actions ultimately lead to that room even being around that room in the first place. So, and them getting the blood in the first place. Like they don't get the blood of Spider-Man if the spider doesn't bite Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really, time-wise. I'm okay with it though. But no, I liked it. I genuinely, and we got Venom out of it. Because a part of him gets cut off.
I know. That's what I said.
We see it gets dropped off.
Not only did we use this final fight as a way to loop in and like how Spider-Man became Spider-Man and do that, we also get the symbiote.
Yeah.
So it's like we dual purpose this final fight, which I think was great.
And I think what's cool about the animated show versus what's really tricky to do in live action is you can balance all these different villains out in a shorter amount of time in the same room together. Because like we got an early version of Tombstone in this series. We got Scorpion in this series. We got an early version of Doc Ock. We got Goblin, who we don't know is Goblin yet.
Venom.
Next season, I mean, we're getting Venom. We're getting Goblin. We're getting Doc Ock.
Tombstone.
Maybe Rhino. We saw Rhino early on. So, like, that's one of the cool things. Another cool thing about, like, the animated aspect of this is you can have an episode that's as heavy as, here's Doctor Strange. Here's Venom. Here's Tombstone. Here's Doc Ock. Here's Future Goblin. Like, you can do that, and honestly, I don't feel overwhelmed or like it's overbearing.
And you know what's so lit is next season we can also bring Iron Man for an episode.
Yeah,
we
saw
can
him.
bring
Yep.
Daredevil. You know,
dude, Daredevil's got to keep playing a part in this because I don't know who the hell that Jean character is.
Yeah.
I actually don't even know who she's supposed to be. I really don't.
A sidekick,
I'll
I guess.
I'll have to look that one up. But yeah, that's
dude, it's just like but it's like next season if Daredevil and Spider-Man team up to take on a villain.
I really want to see more of that.
I'm okay with it.
Really want to see more of that.
Iron Man pops in for an episode.
Yeah.
The Avengers pop in for an episode. I'm cool with Or Spider-Man joins the Avengers for an episode.
Yeah.
Why the frick not?
Very cool.
And the fact that this world parallels our world in the sense of all the events that we've seen happen in this world, Sokovia Accords, Avengers, Battle of New York, they've referenced all of these things that have happened.
Yeah.
I think they even referenced the blip.
It's very
Did they? Am I tripping? Am I making that up?
I don't know if the
Anyways,
I don't know if the blips happened yet.
Either way, events that happen in our world also have paralleled in this world. So it's like we can just get all this cool stuff, and it's like I'm cool.
I'm cool with it. Yeah, it's
and that's
cool.
what Spider-Man does though. His early shows, like when we were growing up, he was
always
always partnering.
everybody. He's with the X-Men one episode, and he's
always
with
partnering.
Iceman and the Fire Lady for that entire series. Like
always has friends.
Yeah, always
that he's fighting with. And, but then again, though, he's got arguably the deepest.
He's got one of the deepest
catalogs of villains,
rogue galleries ever.
He's got one of the deepest.
It's like him and Batman.
Him and Batman are like 1A, 1B.
The most iconic, we'll say too.
Sure.
Like all of them, there's not a lot of B-listers from the Rogue Gallery with them.
So it's just like, the fact that his catalog is so deep, and he doesn't kill them, so like they come back. You know what I mean? They're always like coming back.
Yeah.
It just can be so much fun. Bro.
It is,
and I'm down to just have fun.
I am. I'm down to have fun. I also think it's cool that we did get the Watcher just like thrown in there.
Yeah.
I love that they didn't spend time on it. I love that they didn't go into it. I thought for a brief second we were going to be like start to narrate by him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that's cool. I honestly would have loved it too. But I really like just seeing him because that confirmed the whole season is like this big what if thing.
That, and it's also in the multiverse.
It's in the multiverse. And
so the Watcher sees
again, that's the cool. I understand not a lot of people liked what if, but that's the cool aspect of what if. You've established this whole series with the Watcher, so now moving forward, any animated spinoff you want to do, just throw him in there in the sky.
Yeah.
Like one scene. And I'll be like, that's cool. It connects back. Like he's watching.
Yeah.
He's watching all of them. So I just really appreciated that. I thought that was really cool. Especially because like I in the minority, I like What If and I like that character. So yeah, but let's so excitement rankings.
Yeah.
I gave it a 6, I believe. I'll pull it up now.
I gave it a 7.
You gave it a little higher. I think you might have even given it an 8, to be honest. But yeah, like I said, I wasn't like super pumped going into this.
Yeah, and remember, like, our excitement ranking wasn't we thought the show was going to be a 6. You know, Noah
Yeah.
didn't think the show was going to be a 6. Maybe he
yeah.
did, but
No,
he,
no,
he
no.
isn't saying the show's going to be a 6. He was just, that's how excited he was for this product based off marketing, based off what he knew about the plot, which he didn't know anything because he thought it was a Tom Holland, origin story
Yeah,
still,
definitely missed that one out.
he wasn't wrong. Originally, the show was a Tom Holland origin story, but of course, it's.
I legit can't find these right now. I don't know where I wrote these down.
I know whatever you gave it. I think I was like
I gave it
one higher. You gave it a 6.
I gave it a 6 because I just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure
was
what
high
to expect.
7s. I had to have been high 7s.
Yeah, you either high 7s or 8s because you like to do those decimal points. So
Yeah.
um,
It's the problem with decimal points. I never remember what I say.
yeah. So last 2 series, I will say the last 2 series I've watched that I didn't want to watch, I've been pleasantly surprised by.
We can dab up to that.
Yeah, we can dab up to that one. That's not killing kids, so I'll dab you up to that one.
Sick.
But yeah,
you did say killing a minor.
no.
Anyways.
That never came out of my mouth, so I rebuked that. Yeah, so that was cool. Let's get to ranking though, because I'm
'Kay.
excited about this. You want to go first?
Yeah, I'm going to put this show at a. If X-Men 97 is a 10,
Yeah.
which if we're doing one at 10, I think is a 10.
Mm.
This show is a 9.6.
Okay.
This show's really good.
Yeah.
This first season is nearly perfect.
Yeah.
It's nearly perfect.
Yeah, I would say it's bordering on perfect. I don't know why I'm hesitant to give it a 10,
That's
but
because you don't do decimal points like me.
it's not even
So you
that.
can't get
It's-
in the weeds of like how.
No, it's not even that. It's just like for like off first rip, I'm like, why wouldn't this be a 10?
So you would put this show similar to X-Men 97.
See, but that's my point.
That's
It's
the
like
problem.
it's not.
You see? That's
so
why you need
it's
points.
so it's a 9. It's a 9 for me. Like I agree. This is an excellently done show. Very well executed. Very interesting plot.
But if you gave it a decimal point, it'd be like what?
No, I
Or
wouldn't
not?
do that. So.
Okay.
I refuse to give you that satisfaction. No, yeah, it's like a very strong 9. Very strong. And again, I don't really know why it's not a 10, but then you say like, but is it as good as X-Men 97? I'm like, no. So it's like, I don't think it can be a 10. I don't know what it is about that. I really couldn't tell you why. Maybe I need a couple more weeks away from this show to figure that out. But no, this is a 9, man. If you haven't watched this, go watch it. I don't know why you'd be listening to us if you
Sure.
haven't
mean,
watched it.
If you listen to this and you didn't watch it, I mean, you're spoiled. But like, still watch it. It's still great.
But yeah, go check out the series. It deserves love. It deserves to be watched because they did a good job on this one.
Yeah.
Stop being such an a-hole about the Marvel products. And, there is sometimes you have to disassociate and just watch a show, watch a single thing for what it is.
And just like, also like, remember that like Noah's okay with minors being killed for plot progression.
I'm gonna edit this out.
Just know that plot progression is more important than a minor's life in an animated show.
Coming from the guy who, if he had superpowers, would probably kill a minor or two.
If he's doing bad things, then it's justifiable.
Oh my gosh.
And the Supreme Court can quote me if I have superpowers.
They wouldn't. That's actually in the law. It's doing the exact opposite of what you're saying.
That's fine. But then I would view that as them doing bad things because they're censoring.
Then the Supreme Court would have to die as well.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is just a never-ending.
So
chain
like
of
I am
events.
Omni-Man.
Yeah.
No, but
man.
it's a lot of fun. I want to ask you one question.
Okay.
I meant to ask you this earlier in the episode. Just gonna have to do it here because I forgot. We've kind of talked about it, right? This clash of mentalities that both are necessarily wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They're both right in their own way, but depending on what side of the coin you're on, you may view it differently. Between Mark and Cecil, what team are you?
Oh yeah, I have seen a lot of this going around online.
So like, there's Team Cap, Team Iron Man, right? There's Team Jacob, Team Edward. Are you Team Cecil or are you Team Mark?
We discussed this a little bit on the episode when we got to this part. I lean probably more towards Cecil, and here's why. I get it, Mark, like I do, because you do have to have like a line And if you're going to be firm on that line, I get it. Because that's what a lot of superheroes do. It's like there's no gray. There's the black, there's the white. I just do believe there's the gray. So I believe in, like, if these people are going to actually take advantage of their second chance and it is going to help us, especially them being, like, getting invaded by aliens and other worldly creatures every other day, if that's going to help them, like, at some point, I am very much a person of, like, second chances in terms of, like, I am very good at putting myself in people's shoes, being empathetic towards them. Obviously, those are mass murderers, so it's a little different. But, like, if they can actually contribute and be contained to just contributing, and that's how they serve out their sentence, so be it. Like, the guy who's creating the Animen, he's serving out his sentence by basically just being locked up in the Pentagon and creating for them.
But
Blackwing, again, though, he's serving his sentence by making good
He's on the
what he was
Guardians.
doing wrong. He is
a face on the Guardians.
He
He's on
has
the
to
team.
help people now, though. And if he gets anywhere out of line, he just goes back and he doesn't get a third chance. You know what I mean?
So you're on board with, like...
I'm more on Cecil's side of things. Like, yes, I get it. It's wrong that he did that. But if we can find a better way for him to serve his time that helps us, why not? Especially in a world as crazy as Invincible, where you need every superpowered person you can get. Again, cross the line again? No, gone. Strike 3. There's no strike. There is no third chance. It's just you're gone.
Interesting.
So you're not on that side.
No, I'm on the side where they wouldn't have a chance because they'd be dead.
You were gonna say that. So you're not on Mark's or Cecil's side.
No, I'm on my side.
You're on Omni-Man's side.
I'm on Oliver's side. No, I don't agree with. It's hard. I understand why Cecil is doing what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
The problem I have, I think, is he is probably the worst person at de-escalating a situation.
Cecil?
Yes.
I don't know if I agree.
He could have easily de-escalated this encounter with Mark that led to their.
I agree.
He tried.
I agree.
I
agree
agree.
with
He
that.
tried.
Yeah.
But he did not do a good job.
I agree with that, and I told you that when I watched the episode. Like, I think they did that better in the comics. I think that was more drawn out, because I agree. He went straight. At one point in the conversation, he went 0 to 100.
Yeah, Cecil was tripping.
And he just stopped.
The idea of rehabilitating bad people, it's really murky water. I would probably lean more Mark, just because, those people, like, we're talking about mass murdering innocent people. You know what I mean? And then also kidnapping people and mutilating them and, doing terrible things. So it's like, I get it. For Mark, it's a little hard, though, because it's personal to him. His best friend's gay friend or gay partner was one that was tortured by Sinclair. So it's like, it's personal to him. So that's like, makes it even worse. And then, like, the is it Blackwing, Darkwing, whatever his name is.
Yeah. He was killing criminals. He was doing what you want to do.
Yeah. He wasn't wrong. I don't think he's. I don't think he really.
On second thought,
I don't get his persecution.
Darkwing for president.
So it's like, it is what it is. But
yeah.
I was just curious. Curious your take. So your team Cecil, are you team Jacob or team Edward?
I've never watched Twilight series.
So you don't have an answer?
No.
Are you team Iron Man or team Cap?
I did just watch this.
Okay.
This is tough because, like, while I think I agree more with Iron Man, Cap's reasons I get. And I'm also like, but even Cap came to the point where he was like, I think I'm more team Iron Man because, like, I would rather try and make the change and try and, like, they said this in the movie, keep one hand on the wheel rather than take my hands off of it, just for the sake of, like, absolute freedom. But I also agree with Steve's point that he makes in the movie, which is like, A, when everybody's telling you something is wrong, is right, but you know in your heart it's not, do you back off? And B, what if this comes to a point where they don't want to send us somewhere we have to go, or they send us somewhere we don't want to go? So I get both those points.
So what team are you?
I lean more towards Iron Man, logically wise, but heart wise, I lean more towards Cap.
I'm Team Cap, and the reason why is because in real life, but also we'll just stick to the MCU. We've established that the governments are corrupt,
Yeah, I do agree.
and
with
so it's like giving them all the power
that.
is a terrible idea
I
for
do-
the reasons that Cap said.
yeah,
If they send us somewhere that we feel like we should not be involved, what happens? And then what happens if we need to go somewhere like we're talking about like an alien invasion in China, but it gets political and they're like, no, we don't want to send it. But it's like, that's the Avengers' job to protect the world. Like, the Avengers' job is
yeah,
you to defend the world from whatever. So it doesn't matter what, but if the government deems it, oh, we're not going to get involved, the Avengers, like, they got to get involved.
Yeah.
That's their sort of thing. So
and Tony kind of says that in the movie. He says, like, and Cap asks him, like, well, what if we get to that point down the road? Tony's like, well, we'll figure that out down the road. And literally every time they get to that point down the road in other movies, it happens like the superheroes just say, piss off, and they go do what they want. So, like, that's another reason why I kind of think it's like we all could have just taken Iron Man's side because we were just going to disagree and do what we wanted anyways when it push
but then
came
you
to
come
shove.
back and you're in jail.
But they didn't. Because, I mean,
but half the world.
the world went to shit, but, like...
But, like, in that scenario, let's just say the Battle of New York happens in the Battle of Serbia, and they have to go.
Yeah.
But they're not supposed to, but they go. And then they win. They come back, they're in jail.
I think at that point you try and I don't think you go straight to jail. Who's putting them in jail at that point?
The government.
The government's going to put the Avengers in jail.
Yes, because they broke it.
They're going to do
broke
that.
the law.
They're going to do that.
They would have to.
I don't think they have the power to do that, is what I'm saying. If the
Yeah,
Avengers
then
really didn't want to go to jail, they wouldn't go to jail and they would work something out. Because Tony's smart enough.
But then you would be
'Cause all of them are
then
smart
you would be a
enough.
fugitive. So that
I agree, but they can be fugitives out in the open. They don't have to be fugitives like on the run like Cap was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like no.
Like who's telling them what to do at the end of the day?
Then why sign the Sokovia Accords?
I agree, but like that's my point. Is like, why not just sign them if you were just gonna do what you were gonna do at the end of the day, no matter what? Like we got to that point in Endgame where it was like, well, what if they don't want to? What if they're telling us we can't go somewhere we obviously need to go? And Rhodey was like, I don't care. They're here. We're doing it. And then he signed off.
Yeah.
It's like we do.
Well, it doesn't help that the next event was Endgame, where
I
it's
agree.
like half the world disappeared.
Yeah.
So that there was no government.
Yeah, he's like, there's no really like that all kind of got pushed to the side.
that all got like pretty much thrown away. 'Cause it's like, well, there is no government to enforce anything.
There's a lot more going on right now.
So, but yeah,
I
I'd say Team Cap. Team Daredevil or Team Punisher?
Daredevil. You know I'm on that side. You're not dabbing me because you're Team Daredevil though.
I know.
Why would I?
Team Punisher. Okay, I think that was all the ones I have at the top of my head. So,
If you knew though that your best friend killed Tony's mom, would you tell him?
Ooh, so wait, let's put this in our perspective. So if I knew that
That like
that somebody else, no,
we don't
how would
really
it
have
work?
two. We don't really have two best friends, so we can't really work this out.
Well, it'd be Lucas. Let's just put Lucas.
Sure. So like, if you found out like I killed Lucas's parents,
Would I tell Lucas?
yeah,
It would have to be that scenario. No.
knowing that I didn't willingly do it.
Yeah. I'd be in the same position as Cap, whereas I just value. And this is what Cap did. He valued his friendship with Bucky more than he did with
his
Iron
friendship
Man.
with Tony. Yeah.
So it's like, no. But
Yeah.
if it was,
He says it at the end too. He was trying to protect Tony, but he also was trying to protect himself. Like he was at a moment of selfishness.
now if Lucas killed your parents and I hold it from you, then it would be a no.
Yeah, I don't think
I
so.
would tell you.
Yeah.
They
So
would
I'm
jump 'em.
so I'm Bucky in this scenario.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now what if I'm Bucky? Would you tell?
No, I don't think I would. I don't think I would.
I think you would. You snitch.
I don't.
You little snitch hoe.
I ain't no isotope, bro. None of that. All right, we've gone way over. I've had a lot of fun though. This is a lot of the good discussion we get in behind the scenes.
It happens.
And this is a lot of the good stuff we get with good Marvel products too.
Yes.
It's good to have a good discussion about good Marvel products. If you're not following us, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram. We are on all 3 platforms. Drop a like, drop a subscription, drop a follow, drop a comment, whatever you want to drop. Drop it. Come watch us again. We'll be back next week for more episodes. If you like sports, we're taking a break this week. But next week, we are going to be back because basketball is now in the best part of the season outside of playoffs. And football, we have just got some exciting things to wrap up on football before we move on. So very excited about that. Thank you guys for coming around the house with us. We've had a lot of fun hanging out. We'll be back next week. See you. Peace.